I am the host of The Exchange. Share with our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So our company, our main business is the distributor, the agent, the business, for industry machinery. So since our company is based in Japan, so our manufacturer is in Japan, and we buy the industry machinery from Japan and export to the other countries. And also we provide some after-sales support for the machinery and something like that. I've been working for this company for about 10 years, and fortunately, I'm based in Singapore for about 2 years now.
Yeah, so my name is Albert Bedell. I've been with Solex for coming up on 10 years now. Worn many hats in my time here. I originally started out in the research and development department, a little bit of project management, a little bit of after-sales support, and then most recently, I've been acting as the regional director for the Asia Pacific region.
We have a lot of guests on here over the time. We've talked fertilizer, we've talked batteries. Heck, last time we talked about cocoa. But why do we have Go here today? Tell us a little bit about that.
When you look at the history of Solex, which is, Solex in one form or another has been around for about as long as I've been alive. And over those years, like I say, we've had really good success in North America. We've had great success in Europe, South America, the former Soviet Union area. But, we've really been quite lacking in, finding that same level of success in the Southeast Asian region. And one of the key things that we're really looking at over the next few years is building up our presence there by trying to work with established, strong, really, people with a broad depth of services that they can provide. And DJK Asia is a perfect example of that. So we're, we've selected, and DJK has been willing to bring us on board as a supplier. DJK is going to be our authorized agent for Singapore, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And when you look at what these markets are, what DJK does as a company, and what Solex does as a company, I think there's a lot of really exciting potential here over the next few years.
Tell me a little bit about how DJK Asia fits within DJK overall, and maybe you can share some of the more interesting projects that you've been involved in Southeast Asia.
Our business is like that. Our business portfolio is a little bit unique. Our 130 staff engineers out of over 260 staff. So not only selling by the industry machinery to the customers, but also we provide after-sales support utilizing the such self-engineered resources. Talking about the major project, especially in Southeast Asia, that's because we are one of the authorized agents for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries (MHI). So to this date, we got involved of the big projects like let's say the utilities, the provision for Kuala Lumpur International Airport, and the big commercial building. It's called Sentosa Island, the resort area of Singapore. So we provided the huge utilities there. Topic I can talk is we got involved with the very first lithium-ion battery cell production in Thailand.
Oh wow!
That is yes.
Oh, and I think one of the things that Go mentioned there, well, there's a few things, but really that focus on DJK is not just a sales organization, it's an engineering organization. They're bringing a lot of technical know-how, a lot of support to customers, and working in a diverse number of industries, which is, like I say, it's such a great fit from our perspective.
I'd like to talk and maybe narrow in on Southeast Asia in general, and talk about what are some of the main industries as it relates to bulk solids that you'll see coming out of that region.
You know, the Southeast Asian market is really it's diverse. We tend to think of it as kind of, we paint it with the same brush, and I don't think that's necessarily fair. There's a lot of different things going on in a lot of different countries. Couple of the big highlights, a lot of polymer production in Southeast Asia, a lot of agricultural products from Southeast Asia, things like cocoa, palm oil, big money crops here. And then you also have really large, mineral exploration potential, a lot of mineral processing.
So let's say in Singapore, that there's a huge petrochemical complex. It's called the Jurong Island. Singapore is a very small, tiny country. Its size is almost same as Tokyo, but there is more than 100 petrochemical companies residing in Jurong Island. So that is a very remarkable area. Of course, from another viewpoint, the world is taking a trend for the carbon flat, carbon neutral. So we are also watching the palm oil there as a source for the biomass resources.
Now, every industry has its challenge. Every region has its challenge. The whole world has had a challenge here recently with the pandemic having effects on multiple industries in multiple ways. We can talk about the pandemic if we feel that's the biggest challenge, but I'd like to talk about maybe what are some of the other challenges in addition to the pandemic that might be impacting Southeast Asia.
What I can say is the culture of petrochemical industry. So most of the plants, the petrochemical plants, they have a mother plant in Japan or mother plant in their mother country. So what I want to say here is that they are happy with current production process. So some of our people are very stubborn, very reluctant. So we are happy with current process. So why we have to change to new process. So this should be absolutely the challenge for us, how to change their mind.
Well, Albert, we might know a little something about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's we've always been viewed as a very much an alternative technology, and we're always starting from the outside, kind of working in. And there's a couple of things that Go has mentioned already just in our conversation. Mentioned working with a lithium-ion battery manufacturing line in Thailand, and then mentioned looking at biofuel production from palm oil, and those are both kind of in the same vein of this great global kind of ESG awakening, if you want to think about it. Companies are becoming more concerned about their environmental footprint, the energy intensity of their processes, and at the end of the day, there is movement afoot in the petrochemical industry. Are we likely to see demand drop off a cliff anytime soon? Absolutely not. It's going to take time for all the electrification of everything to take off, but change is in the air, and I think that anytime that there's big changes like that, like I say, the big ESG drive, really that the whole seismic shift towards electrification of transport especially, but really electrifying everything. Those are just huge challenges, and one of the things that can help with is it kind of gives a shake to those conservative industries, those very conservative plants, those very just conservative markets, and says, hey, you got to wake up and you got to try something different, and that I think is a really great opportunity as well as a great challenge.
Go, I'm interested in your opinion on that. For those more conservative industries that are reluctant to change because, you said it, everything's working fine. Is the push to reduce the carbon footprint, to create greener operations, from where you're sitting and the clients you're dealing with, is that enough of a motivation from what you're seeing to actually change?
the petrochemical industry is a bit conservative industry, but though such kind of an industry, we are finding out a few users still trying to find a way for carbon footprint, carbon neutral. So luckily we are finding out such kind of I say the customers very positive towards the ESG, the SDGs campaign. So I hope that is a change.
You had mentioned there's so much diversity in the industries throughout the region. I'm interested to know which countries are Southeast Asia's main customers for the product. And I imagine it's going to be very hard to answer because it's, you mentioned it's so diverse to begin with in what's being produced there.
As I talked to you, the petrochemical industry is very active in Singapore. They are producing not just like the polymer, but they're trying to produce the functional material, the plastic. So for those products, let's say engineering plastic, for the electronics, automotive industry. So for those functional polymer material, the customer is not in Singapore. So those are plastic compound polymer powder to be exported to adjacent countries like Thailand, India, or sometimes talking about the Qatari material, those to be exported sometimes to Japan. The agriculture products to be produced in Asia and Philippines. So Indonesia is the biggest producing country for palm oil. So the majority of palm oil to be exported to Europe, Asia, Japan, and America to rivers. And also Indonesia produces a big amount of coffee beans, so to be exported to worldwide.
Go paints a really accurate picture here. When you get into, kind of the tapestry that is Southeast Asia, you have different markets with different customers. So yeah, palm oil is going to be going, who's going to be taking most of it? India, Europe, China, refined or, semi-refined raw materials coming out of Indonesia. What's the biggest market for that? Probably China, where they're going to end up doing a lot of the refining and start turning it back into other things. And then there's just a lot of inter-country trade as well.
Well, we're nearing the end. I don't want to miss this opportunity to share with our audience where they can get more information about DJK. If people want to stay in touch and find out what's going on in your world, where's the best place to go? Okay.
So if you are interested in South Asia market, just read this QR code and can take my contact information.
Well, hey, this has been a great conversation. I've learned a lot about, particularly around the petrochemical industry. I guess I wasn't, I did appreciate the magnitude of that. And yeah, palm oil. Who knew? Everything, it's coming out of Indonesia. That's a couple of things. So I hope everybody else learned a little something. Again, I know I did. I want to thank you for your time. I know it's your morning there, and you're just kind of getting started, but for taking out some time in your schedule and speaking with Albert and I, it's been great. Thank you so much.